I've been in marketing for 20 years, but I actually am coming to this point of recognition that PR might be your first tactic. I mean, like it, and I think that's what we're talking about. It's public relations is so broad now.
It has to start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ryan Alford. Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. I am joined today by a fellow advertising, marketing, PR, you name it, add the hyperbole, the badass that is Michael Valor. He is the CEO of Valor Media. I love Valor, by the way. Jesus, it's like what a more perfect name for marketing and media. But Michael, what's up, brother?
What's going on, guys? How's it going? How are you?
Hey, man, we're living the dream here at Radical and here in our podcast studio. And, I'm just excited to talk to you. Been good getting to know you over the last couple of years.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Has there been a better named podcast for Michael Valor than the fucking Radcast?
When you get an invite in your meeting and it says, come to the Radcast, it's like perfect.
There was some strategy in the naming. Obviously, our agency is Radical, so it fit right in. But I was like, it's going to be real hard as we're growing this thing. And now, we got a pretty good following. And, I think I wouldn't say we've made it, but it's getting easier with guests. But at the beginning, who doesn't want to be on the Radcast?
Right. It's easy. It feels free. I love it.
Yes. So, it's been great getting to know you the last couple of years and appreciate your assistance with some of my personal branding and some of the things that we've done from a PR perspective. Been watching you grow and really take Valor Media to new heights. You work with you and Hans and others on the team. But let's talk about Michael. I mean, let's just start. Let's give everybody a little perspective. Where, we'll give them the background, the ones and twos. So tell us a little bit about Michael Valor.
In business since I could remember. I mean, my first and foremost, it's like, as you can tell, probably automatically. I mean, even if this is the first time you've ever seen me talk and you're watching the Radcast, I talk, I'm from New Jersey. Got that tang to me. I got some Italian blood going on. So it's like always been a little bit rambunctious is probably the best way to put it. So, the traditional public schooling system wasn't my best friend. It wasn't loving me, it was a lot of stop talking, sit down, and I'm great at talking and standing up. Wasn't really rewarding my gifts.
You were that kid in my class, weren't you?
I was. People wanted to get class with me because you knew it was about to be fun. I wake up like this. It's a blessing and a curse, You come out in the morning and people are like, dude, are you always like that? And it's like, yeah, So it's crazy. And we got started. I was 18 in business. Two guys came into my business class just randomly in high school. I mean, this is old school stuff, right? And they put a sheet and they were like, we're going to train you guys on how to start a business. And we're just a bunch of kids, I'm thinking this is a group activity. I'm looking to partner with my friends. Maybe we get a good grade, whatever. And dude, it changed my life. I mean, I was 17 probably when that happened. And it was just like, you could start a business. You could just start a business. You could just go out and start a business. And that blew me away. Like you could just start a business. You could just, whatever you say is real in business, festival, you know what I mean? But Whatever you say is real. And so I just started realizing that and that you could just go out and make things and create things and build things. And I was naturally pretty good at sales. I moved down to North Carolina from New Jersey, which was a culture shock, as I'm sure you can, what's up with the South. I love the South now. I've been here a while. And yeah, I mean, I'm just this loud kid from New Jersey and it was like, okay, really good at sales. I learned a little bit about business. And I was sitting there in a coffee shop and I was talking to Hans. He's my partner. And I was just sitting there talking to Hans. And this lady was overhearing me in the coffee shop. She's just hearing me talk. And she was like, turned around. She's like, do you want a job, young man? And I'm 17.
Yes, please hire me.
I'm just saying yes. I'm just like, yes, I do. And she actually ran the local newspaper of Wake Forest, North Carolina. out of Raleigh, and he was looking for a newspaper ads salesman.
Okay. All right.
And so I didn't know anything about this, but it sounded official.
Especially if it had "the" at the beginning of it. If it had "the" at the beginning of it, it was definitely official.
way better than the Pizza Hut man. So I'm like, yes, I want this job for sure. Didn't realize how hard it was about to be because it's newspaper ads. And, but 10 years, like 9 years ago, 10 years ago, I mean, that was still reasonable. Small businesses were still spending money on newspaper ads.
Talk about something, the dinosaur that is newspaper now. But yes, then it was. Having spent my time growing in the ad agency business, sending thousands of newspaper ads out, at one time, it was the cash cow of advertising.
Right. They had budgets for it. But this is a time as well. I mean, this is 10 years ago. So it's like Instagram's barely a thing, if anything at all. I mean, it's like an artistic platform at best. Facebook is young. People are thinking social media is a fad. This is within our decade, which every time, by the way, I bring that up, it blows my mind. That blows my mind. 10 years ago, I used to sit down with business owners and I was pitching them to get into a newspaper and they were selling ice cream. And I was so how much ice cream does this guy got to sell to recap any amount of investment from this newspaper ad? This small block that costs $2,000 in the Wake Weekly. So that's where we got started. I did phenomenal. I did really well. I built a lot of good relationships. It was a lot of cold calling, a lot of cold knocking, just walking into businesses and just beating my face against the pavement, really.
But that teaches you a lot. That cold calling, I think everyone should have to go through that. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, obviously you're more of an extrovert, so you're good at it. It suits your personality. But I feel like that really it gets you ready for business, like having to have those discussions, having to understand and kind of just put yourself out there. I feel like everybody should go through that.
The good thing about it, and this is what I always say, is it makes you bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? You go sit down with the business, you're about to get shot. And after a while, you're like, okay, patch that up. And then you get shot over here and you're like, oh, patch that up. And you get shot over here. Like they're asking the hard questions because it's money and the money matters. And especially in the small business space, that I was, but I mean, that was where we were started. And so every $100 mattered. $500 is a big expense. That's money out of their kids' mouths or food out of money. They better not be. Don't anybody put money in your kid's mouth. Yeah, dude, it really came down to it. Like it actually affected families. So it was like, I'm selling newspaper ads. They don't work. You know what I mean? The readership wasn't there. And it's just like, I'm building awesome relationships with all these small business owners, sitting across the desk from them, pitching them on a newspaper ad, telling them how important advertising is. And they're losing money about it. And that's when I made a decision. I was 18 at this time. I was doing well. For myself. I mean, we increased the revenue by a couple 1,000%. I mean, they didn't have a sales force prior to. So I'm pushing $2,000, $5,000 packages once or twice a week. I'm bringing in decent revenue for the Wake Weekly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is good revenue for them. So yeah, and I just started feeling bad about it. I went to my mentor at the time, who was my math teacher. He changed my life on business books, self-development. He kind of introduced me to that whole thing at 18, pivotal time for me. I mean, that was huge. I needed that. And I went to him and I was like, hey, I'm quitting the job. And he was like, what? You're quitting the job? And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to quit. He was like, Mike, people were like, that's unreasonable. My family wasn't wealthy. Like nobody was making big money. Like for me to even be making $50,000 a year salary as a 17, 18-year-old, like, hell yeah. Like that's great. That was like big time. I had a button down. I thought I was legit, and all my friends were like, wow, he's like a manager of a newspaper, like they think that. So I went in and I was like, I want to live an unreasonable life, reasonable decisions. My decisions cannot be reasonable. I can't always make reasonable decisions. If I want to be what I want to be, and I definitely want to be that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew like Napoleon Hill is a really big influence, that was like one of my first big books. Yeah. And he says, you want to have a burning desire. That's like step number one. And I'm like, I've already got the burning part down. Now we just got to make it a desire.
Yeah.
Your boy's on fire. And so just got to make it a desire and get very clear about what I wanted. And so I ended up quitting that job and starting my first marketing company called Average Joe Promo at 18. And that's where we are. And it has just evolved and grown and built, and it's like a Megazord from Power Rangers. It's a beast now. It's arguably, I would say, in the top 20, maybe top 10 PR marketing celebrity firms in the country. Work with some of the biggest guys. Yeah, it's awesome. And now we're a recognized name from Average Joe Promo LLC. We used to build website pages on businesses on Weebly back in the day. This is 9 years ago. Post their links and get them like little backlinks and social signals. I was pretty big into SEO back then. I mean, that's where we got rolling.
Love it. Well, a couple things there. They do say that growth and comfort do not coexist. Sounds like you kind of lived and breathed that, making that transition. People always look at you. They're like, what the hell are you doing? But, if you want to take a leap, if you want to get to where you want to go, it isn't always going to be comfortable.
No, it's uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable. I mean, it has to be. Like, I wake up this morning and I've been gone. I've been in Miami. I've been traveling. We were in LA. We were in Las Vegas. I was with you recently.
Yeah.
We had T.O., Terrell Owens. We had Wolf of Wall Street. We had Brad Lee. We've got more coming up. So I've been on the road. I wake up today and like most people would be like, okay, it's Monday, like crust nice and slow, And for me, it's like battle time, baby. Put me behind the desk and start sending me some problems. I run an agency, right? So it's like, I got finance problems. We've got operations problems. We've got marketing problems,
Yep.
Some branding problems, infrastructure problems, sales problems, And that's part of being a business owner, right? Is just solving these issues all day. And they just get slapped in your face over and over again. And I love it. And I love that part of it.
Let's talk a little bit, Michael, about, some of the core of what you guys do and maybe talk about some of the trends in PR and influencing and all of those things. It's just become so hyper reported as people are trying to build their personal brands and they aren't naturally or currently a celebrity, how they leverage that. But talk about some of those core services that you guys are providing that you see were, trends and things that were needed in the marketplace. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. So we're at this point now where social media is a must. You can't avoid it. You need the profiles. You need them to look good. They cannot be shitty. You cannot hire a random college intern anymore for $400, and have them running your show. Like that's what we're transitioning out of that, because that's what business owners are like thinking, okay, well, I'll just hire like my niece and she's going to come in and, if you're building a big business of any sort, you need thought leadership. You need brand positioning, and we call that fame engineering, impact marketing and fame engineering. And so we've kind of coined that term. I'll use one of my clients as an example. Johnny's Pizza. Okay. Johnny's Pizza, local pizza joint. You would say, why does this guy need to be famous? He's a local pizza. He should be spending money on paid ads. He should be spending money on SEO. He should be spending money on better landing pages, right? Like what? Maybe some mailers, direct mail. What is he spending money on that turns him an ROI? And I sit down with this guy 3 or 4, goes to show you like how well we've done. If you're a marketing company and you're working with a guy for 4 years, what's up? He was like, I know you can grow social media platforms. Okay. At this point, I'm like 17,000 followers. Yeah. But I'm just big in Raleigh, North Carolina. 17,000 was a lot then. It's like, I'm a micro influencer. And so he sits down with me. And I was like, listen, you don't want to just run a local pizzeria. It's not just that for you. You want to be the pizzeria. You want to be positioned as the legendary pizzeria, the one that people take their family to when they're in town. Hey, you got to try this place. It's famous. And a lot of times with the restaurant industry, that's positioning over long term, right? It takes years, decades. Oh, this place has been here since 1892 or something crazy like that, Everybody goes here. This is the local shindig. This is the spot. Like the familiarity. So you got to know, like, trust funnel. I got to know the business. I got to like the business. I got to trust the business. I want to add a step to that. I want them to adore the business. I want them to that brand ethos. I want them to feel and experience that the pizzeria is legendary. How do we do that? We frame some of the language. We start to create content that nobody else is doing. And then we take, okay. And so what that is for us, and this is always our process when we work with people, whether it's a small business and you want to do individual targeting and try to pull in local customers, or you want to frame yourself long-term and we're building a brand for in longevity. You go, number one, how many followers do you have? And then every business owner, this is where, I hear this every single day, you know? It's like, well, I want followers that turn into money.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they say every time you talk to them. Well, if my followers aren't buying anything from me, then what's the good of a follower? And I'm like, Kylie Jenner's followers are all not buying from 200 million followers. But Kylie Jenner's getting paid $1 million to post on Instagram one time. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the best of anybody in your space, whatever, plumbing, I don't care if you own a boating company. I don't care if you've got painting. I don't care if it's pizza. There is a peak, and there are people who are at that peak. They are managing their social media well. They are investing in it. They're spending time on it. They're making it clean, clear, and under control. They're building it up. So my first step is always to get you to 100,000 followers. For the local businesses, you go maybe 10, 20, 30. You know what I mean? But really, the main identity here is how can we get a lot of people buzzing about this business? How do we do that? A lot of people. I want every view I can get. And then we start to look for, okay, credibility. So now it's like, all right, let's say personal brand, because that's something I specialize in. Okay. Personal brand comes to me 1,000, maybe 10,000, something like that. I say, okay, step one, let's get you more followers. So we'll get you on a growth plan. There's a lot of ways to grow right now. There's a lot. You have a DM method where, I don't know if you've seen this, but like they take thousands of child accounts and they can sweep an entire state or a hashtag and just DM everybody. And that's good. It's pretty targeted, but it's expensive. Look at it this way. You've got to scale. Obviously, the lower the quality of the follower, the cheaper it's going to quality of the follower, the more expensive it's going to be, all the way down to like, let's run paid ads and try to get you followers that way. But you're about to dole out some cash. You know what I mean? So whatever your ratio is budget wise and however long and however aggressive you want out of followers, we can make that plan for you. All the way down to I could target your sister who is at a restaurant down the street. I can get her, but you're paying for those. You know what I mean? And it's harder. It takes longer. You got to enter relationships and do follow and talk to them and get them in the DMs and send them the right stuff. And right. So we take care of the growth. Now you're growing for whatever degree that is. Then I say, okay, now we want you. That's the next big thing. And that's the question, man. I'm telling you, nobody knows how to do it. It's always changing. It's been changing for 8 years. I've been doing this. The blue check is infamous. Everyone wants the blue check. No, everyone's questioning. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's actually, I feel bad because it's an industry. It's its own product and industry by itself, the blue check. I mean, that has made me so many people. We've walked hundreds of celebrities through the process of, okay, you got to get some press. You know, that verification badge is huge. We got to get you some press. We got to Google index that press. We might need a Google knowledge. We might need an IMDb. Well, I don't know what we're going to need. You know what I'm saying? And it's not up to me. I'm not the judge maker there, you know? And it keeps changing, but, and I'm sure you can attest to this, changes your business. Your response rate goes up 30, 40, 50%, maybe more. You know what I'm saying? If you comment on a famous person's post and you are verified, get ready to get some. If you apply that $1.80 strategy from Gary Vee, right, where you're commenting on people's posts in your niche, okay, you run whatever type of business, a medical spa, I don't know, and you start commenting on other medical spa posts, verified, and you have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers, you're about to get some responses, brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's when people look at you and then now you're credible and now they want to do business and they want to interact. Cool. So that brings me to, so now you're verified. You have hundreds of thousands of followers, 100,000 followers, whatever. You look clean. You look like a good profile. This is all on Instagram first and foremost. Facebook's awesome. It builds a really close, tight-knit community. Build groups on there. It's great to interact and have hand-to-hand touches. But where's the social credibility there? Because you could just boost your posts if you really want more views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Instagram is that's your mainstay right now. And that could change. But that's right now, it's currently that's your web page. That's where people go first. Okay. And you better have your highlights set up right and your highlight cup. We do all this for you, you know?
Yep.
Clean. So now you're verified, you got 100,000 followers. We go to step 3. Now we want to start interacting and collabing with people in your space. So personal brand comes to me and they're in the fitness space. Reach outs for them and we'll start setting up collabs in the fitness space, one after another. He's working with this guy. 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 He's working with this guy, you know? And guess what? They want to work with you. They want to work with you now. Then you are somebody to them. You apply them value. And that's the thing. People are so crazy to me. They're like, well, why don't I just reach out to him now? It's like from a place of weakness instead of a point of leverage.
Yep. But that's what it is, though. I mean, everything you're talking about is that attention. And that's why, literally, I mean, we created T-shirts that says attention is currency. Like, and that's what people don't understand. It's like, this isn't about being famous to be famous. This is about famous for activating business and currency monetization through whatever you do, whether that's, a psychologist or a, truck guy. I mean, that's what's crazy is like, people don't understand, like you said, like, this isn't like, oh, I just want to be famous, and I know every 15-year-old now wants to be famous, but as a business though, it's just, this is about having leverage, because when you have attention, you have leverage, period.
It's a must. It's a must. It's like, play the game. You're about to be on the platforms. Other people are in your space and they're doing it and they're killing it. Why are you not? And you can make it look like you're killing it real quick. And when you are, it's like you look like you're killing it real quick, because now you've collabed with everybody in your space. You've networked with them. You don't even know what comes from that. You know what I'm saying? Like some people I've set up with, like I'll introduce them to Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street. We're all from Dropping Bombs. They start shaking hands. They start talking about their problems. Now there's a name to the face. People know each other. It builds a community, like there's value in meeting those people, but they don't even want to meet you until you have value. The way that you do is when you walk in like a big boss with the blue check, 100,000 followers and kick-ass content. They're like, this guy, I could take this guy seriously now. You know what I'm saying? And that's fame engineering and brand positioning. And the bigger you are, this is interesting. I love Bradley. Okay. I would consider us friends. I like the guy a lot. I love how he does business. I love being around him. His energy is contagious. He's one of the best. Let me be clear about this. One of the best framers and positioners of his brand. I like it. Okay. You walk up to him and you feel, you're like, this guy's cool. Like this guy, he's got it down. He's got it down. You want to work with him. You trust him automatically. He's only got 3. What is it? He's not a celebrity. But he holds himself like that. And I got to commend him for it. It's huge because it really does change the game. People give him stuff. I've watched it just because of who he is. Yeah. And that's the thing. And then, so the next question is, okay, now we're collabing with all these people. Okay. And they're in your space. And then everyone comes out and they're like, well, I don't do content. I don't know how to do content. I don't know how to get on camera and make content. Like, how do you make content for your space? Are you specialized? Like when you're collabing, you're making content automatically. So it's like the Gary Vee thing, like document, don't create. I tell people, my clients, you sit in front, write me just a couple topics, things you know about, things that if I asked you, you would say, oh, it's this, and this. Because everybody's got a specialty. You wake up and if you get out of bed, you got a specialty. Well, I don't care if you're just getting out of bed and making toast. That you making toast, you're good at making toast now. How many times have you done that? So all these people got jobs and they got a specialty. And so I just say, put a camera on, get yourself a little mic, and let's write down some topics, and you talk about it. You send it to us. We'll cut it. We'll clip it. We'll make it cool. And then we'll throw it up there. Okay. And it just rocks. I mean, it just rocks. Now, and then like step 4. And what is step 4? Now it's like, okay, they got a big account. It's verified. The account has value. Okay. They've collabed with just about anybody in their space. They know all those people. They got tips, tricks, networks, all from that. Then we say, okay, who do we want to target to bring you to the next level? Grant Cardone did this. Mm-hmm. Why do you think he had John Travolta? Why do you think he has Kevin Hart on 10? You know what I'm saying? It's positioning.
He's rubbing shoulders with celebrities.
He's big now. There are guys that I have worked with and talked to that have portfolios close enough to the size of Grant Cardone, if not bigger. And they are not respected nearly as much. And it's because of the positioning that Grant has put into his brand. You want to respect to him. He is idolized.
And it gives him so much more opportunity. Obviously, real estate and investing is his thing. I'm sure that's his bread and butter. It's always going to stay the center path for him. But he's got leverage to go beyond Bravo. He's got leverage to go be, billionaire behind the scenes, whatever it was. But he has leverage. Undercover billionaire, like billionaire something, But it does. But he's got leverage to choose his paths. He's not stuck in one lane.
It gives you that because even the networks like Discovery Channel approaches this guy and says, okay, we got to put. He's got a personality, he's got this big brand. He's worked with celebrities, and it comes back down to fame engineering. How do you position your brand to the point where people want to come to you? And eventually, where you're so big, sometimes my clients, they're so big after a while of just working with me that it's just like, they don't need, why do they need me? You don't need me to get introduced to big guys anymore. You're a big guy. People are trying. I've had that, where clients, we're paying for podcast placements. We're paying for TV slots. They're paying for Forbes and Entrepreneur. And we've done the fame engineering. We've built their content infrastructure, and I help them with the brand, the media. And I don't know how scalable it is. I don't even know if I want to scale it. I like the fact that it's super boutique and that everybody I work with gets best friend customer service. That's huge on an agency scale. It's like you could text your best friend at 11 p.m. on Sunday, a brand new idea or something. We'll work it out. We're going to work it out together. I'm your best friend. You know what I mean? I got your back. It's like that. So keep that door open when I'm working with a client. Is like best friend customer service. You can talk to me at any time. We're going to consult. I am rocking with you on this. This isn't just buy a product from a 1-800 number. We're about to meet people when you work with me. You're about to shake some hands. We're about to connect. We're going to build a relationship. And I have for the last decade kept my ear to the ground on whatever product comes out to the market, because it changes. That's the thing. Business owners don't have the time, especially if they're making cash, especially if you're making a bunch of money and you're doing well and you got this big organization. What are you going to do? You're staying on top of all the new products that hit the market. Someone's got a new marketing Jim Jam scheme thing that they've got out. My job is to beat those guys down, test them, volumize that price to nothing, and then charge my clients and work with them every step of the way. Step. Every time something new comes out, they hear about it. They get it first, and then they're like, okay, Mike, what's my next step? What can I do, Valor? And I'm like, next step, I would do this. Bing, 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 bing. I'll write it down for you. I'll get into your email. Come on. Who's doing that? You know what I'm saying? Because people are so obsessed with building this large. Our business is weird because when you build an agency, unless you're doing, and I know about this, it's like some of the marketers who are like just dollar for market. It's like ROI. That's fine. You could scale that, but it's a dead horse. I mean, it's just a big fat dead horse. The clients only care about the KPI. That's all that matters.
Yep.
You know? And to me, it was so lifeless. And my business, I feel like, mimics the leader. Businesses always mimic the leader. The culture, how people are handled mimics the leader. And for me, I'm not a lifeless guy, obviously. And I like the connection. I like the warmth. I like hand holding and walking them through it. I like building something when 1,000 followers and they really would love to meet Bradley or Jordan Belfort or Grant Cardone or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And, or the Miami Heat or the UFC we've gotten to work with, which was so awesome. Or NFL players, whatever. Are lifetime accomplishments for some of these people. They did well in business, sure, but they would have never met a Hall of Fame NBA player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now their kids are like, oh my God, you're on TV. That's awesome.
Love it, man. Talking with Michael Valor, CEO of Valor Media, at the Michael Valor. He is the Michael Valor on Instagram. So, Michael, talk a little bit. Like, I'm getting to this point now. You know, I've been in marketing for 20 years, but I actually am coming to this point of recognition that PR might be your first tactic. I mean, like, and I think that's what we're talking about. It's public relations is so broad now, where you personal branding, you have all this press, and earned media sounds a little disingenuous because you do have to pay to play with some of this stuff. But PR is just, it's like, it might be step one.
If you are successful in business and you're doing well, it is step one. Like, if you're already doing well, because people aren't coming to me typically struggling to get their next bill. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, go focus on your sales force, you know, go make it easier for customers to buy from you. I need a higher revenue count. You know, you need to be doing well, you know, but there are ways to work with me at like $300 a month sometimes. How about that? Yeah. And they get the same attention of someone who spends $100,000 a month with me, which happens often. So it's like, I really try to like, it's just pay to play for how fast you want. People always say earn funny. It's like earned media. But like when you pay to meet the Wolf of Wall Street, that shit's earned. Chunk of change.
Yes.
When you talk to them and to connect with them, you get another level of service from them a lot of times. You know? Like there's a level of accountability there that is really important. You're legit. And that's important as well. When you're paying, they know you're legit. And they know that they want to work with you and they know that you do well in business. So they should try to connect with you too. And the networking aspect of it has made some of my clients hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, you want to be talking with these guys. I mean, they're there and where they're at for a reason. These are the guys you want to be rubbing shoulders with. You know, like this is the influence you want to be having. This is the discussions. This just, you know, it's funny. Like you see certain quotes and like sometimes it's like, all right, I'm kind of over that. But the air in the conversation is just different. It just is, you know. Having recently been on Brad Lee's podcast, sitting down at the table with Brad, it's just a different conversation.
Yeah. Well, they're winners. They're winners. How do you think they got there? They did this. They did this. They did fame engineering already. That's the only reason we're talking about them right now. That's why it works. People are like, oh, I want to be like Grant Cardone. I want to be like Brad Lee. I want to be like Dave Meltzer. I want to be like Lewis Howes. I want to be like whatever. They already did this. They've been doing it for 10 years. You know, they've been doing the fame engineering before. It's just not what they called it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ty Lopez fame engineered when he came out with that YouTube ad. I'm here in my garage. That was fame engineering then. You know what I'm saying? He had rented that huge mansion. He rented whatever. You know, he's paying $30,000 a month for this shit. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why? Yeah. Fame engineering. It was credibility, but now it's Ty Lopez. Now it's Ty Lopez. And that's what people need to understand and get to. It's like, I mean, imagine how much money Grant Cardone has dropped trying to make 10X the position, the brand position that it is. You know what blows me away, to be honest with you? Big companies don't do it.
No.
AT&T, you know what? You know if a Fortune 500 threw a budget at me, I'd make their fucking head spin. Sorry. You want to throw a Fortune 500 budget at me? I'll boots ridiculous. It'll be ridiculous. You'll be everywhere. It's called omnipotence. I mean, you've got every celebrity under the sun making creative content left and right. And everyone's like, oh, I've been hearing about KFC because they're popping off on TikTok. because KFC is throwing these influencers KFC $5,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
what is 10 grand to KFC?
Nothing.
And how much now market cap are they getting? The influence in the millennials and Gen Z by attacking. You've got all of these other marketing departments, just millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're just sitting in these offices just talking about nothing. It's like, what are you guys discussing?
No, they're so big. They're so big they can't move. Like, they're so big. And I've used this analogy a lot lately, like from Swingers, the movie, when Vince Vaughn's talking to his buddy. They got these fangs and you don't know what to do. You're batting around the bunny and you don't even know what to do because they're so big and they're so slow and they think they've gotten better. They're still putting 30-second TVs on social media. And they're like, all right, let's have a micro influencer plan. And they're like batting around the bunny when they've got these claws and not figuring out like how to do this shit. It's just like, what are they doing? It's like, and I worked with a lot of them like 10 years ago. And I was just like, I got so tired of it. Now I like working with small to medium business better because, we can move marketing at the speed of now, not yesterday.
You can move the needle. You can pivot a business when it's that size. And there are faults of going super fast. I'm not saying that you want to be, but I'm saying at the same time, it's like, dude, with the budgets that these guys have, they could just dominate. They could dominate. Like, why is there not a Coca-Cola podcast? Why aren't they having celebrities on it? Why aren't there Coca-Cola chat? Like if Coke hit me up with a budget of any kind, it's game over. It's game over. People are going to talk about it. No problem. And so I think the big race right now is how can big companies like that ease up on the reins, give it to a small agency that can fucking kick ass and just go out there and slam it against in a really cool way. And that's impact marketing. That's why I love that. I'm all about it, and it's just like really dominate every single piece of content creation for an organization. You started a podcast. Me and you were talking about this.
Yep.
Now you got a bunch of clients, revenue, extra business opportunities from the podcast.
Yep.
I have a podcast. I talk about Legos. I talk about, and I still get business from it. I'm sitting here for an hour and a half talking about, it has nothing to do with Valor Media. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the Lion King. It has nothing to do with Valor Media, but I get business from it. People are like, oh, this guy, like, he makes content, he builds a brand. And
but they get to know you before they have to working with you. Like, that's what people don't understand is you've softened the beachhead before you attack. Like, you don't even have to attack. They're laying their guns down before you even come onto the beach because they're like, man, we just gave you a hug. We want to work with you. I like this guy.
No like trust every day. You got me. Then you like me. You're like, wow, this guy's kind of cool. He's a nice guy. He's smiling. He's having a good time. Couple jokes, whatever. And then it's like, I trust him now. I've seen him so much. I've seen his life. He does Instagram stories every day, which I'm doing, I got my face on, and people come to me with the weirdest problems with Instagram, man. Like, I am the wizard. I'm Gandalf of Instagram. Okay. Like I got messages today from influencers. They have millions of followers and like Instagram, the customer service is terrible. And you need someone in your corner who can handle the crazy problems that are like, no one's even seen some of these. These are glitches, but it makes sense. Look how big of a system it is. How's it not going to have glitches?
Yeah.
Benefit of having an agency that knows what they're doing, is like having that protection side of things because it gets crazy. It's the internet.
Yeah.
It's the internet. What? Like, why are people still confused? It's the internet. Lover 420. There's crazy things on here. It's not supposed to be clean.
It's the wild, wild west for sure. So, Michael, where's it all going as we kind of wrap things up? We could talk for days, and we will. But where's this all going for you guys?
For me, I think the next step for Valor Media is going to come down to I work with some of the biggest personal brands. Period. You name a person, they've either bought products from me, are buying products from me, or are planning to. When it comes to personal brands. So we're doing a lot with celebrity collabs right now. That's been huge because it does actually, in the celebrity collabs, churn an ROI, believe it or not. You know, you see a celebrity working with a product and they use that on ads. It actually does move the needle and change the game for a product, you know? For me, it's like, we're going to try to double. I think I can, my current infrastructure is we got like a team of 16, 17 people, all here in the US. Then we got our admin team, obviously, that handles all like administrative tasks, back office stuff. And then it's like $5 million a year to $5 million. And I'll be happy there. $5 million a year for sure. You know, but who knows, you know, when I get there and then I'm like, oh, like,
it could be 10. Yeah. What about 20?
Yeah. So we'll see. But I think we have the current infrastructure to handle $5 million, which is good. It's just about getting some of these businesses who are just old dinosaurs who have a bunch of cash on hand, who generation, the new space, because they're not even ready. The metaverse is coming out, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, Ethereum is about to change the internet and you're still struggling to make an online presence. Like, you're about to get left behind, homie. You need some rocket fuel.
That's all my kids say is that's so meta, Dad. I'm like, I know what you're talking about, kid. No, you're not going over my head.
You still make that's good. That's good. Yeah, I think a couple of these big boys eventually will hear about me, bring me in as an outside consultant, and I'll walk them through the walk to fame, the path to fame. We'll make creative content. I mean, if you go look at my page, you'll like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm in the top 1% of creative content out there. I mean, I don't even see stuff like what I put out. You know, it's crazy. It's just crazy, but it has a brand ethos and I'm really good at that. I'm making it real and then formatting it so that everybody wants to be like it. Make things cool. I'm good at making things cool. And I've always been good at making things cool because I was kind of weird, you know, you can tell. I was kind of weird. So it's like, make something weird cool, make being colorful cool. And we're going into a space into 2021 and beyond where being weird and being a little different is good, you know? And that's awesome for guys like me and Brand. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm really enjoying building the business right now. I'm meeting all the people like you, like Brad, like, I mean, anybody. I mean, any and everyone we shake hands with is so cool, man. I mean, we're traveling the world. We're making really cool things happen. Business in a space full of a bunch of jokers. And I think that's another big piece that people are worried about when they work with social media agencies. So agencies, you know, it's like two guys behind a laptop in Bora Bora, and all they care about is they post their images of their Lamborghinis that they bought with their clients' money, and you know, and they're just stacking sales numbers. That's all that matters. And they just build these massive sales organizations and pump out products and infrastructure, its legacy. Some of the people I'm building with, you know their names. And I'm saying I'm a part of that over and over again, which is so sick. So yeah, find more partners, make more people famous. Do cool stuff.
I love it, brother. Well, really appreciate you coming on. Really appreciate getting to know you and Hans better and working together. And I know there'll be more collabs down the road, and really appreciate it. And where can we find you, man? Where can everybody keep up with you? I know it's Instagram. I mentioned it earlier, but tell everybody where to keep up with you.
Dude, it's at the Michael Valor on Instagram. You can click contact. It's got my personal phone number on there. You want to give me a ring? Go ahead. Shoot me a text, phone number on there and everything. Shoot me a DM. I love voice messages. I love connecting with people. I'm so down for that. And yeah, dude, I appreciate you for having me on. The Carolina boys got to stick together.
Exactly. South Carolina, North Carolina. We'll have to meet up for a Hornets game or something. It's, up in Charlotte.
We got a boat out here on Norman, so you got to come up and just chill with us for a little bit.
For sure. Would love to. We'll make it happen. We'll really appreciate Michael Valor coming on today on the Radcast. He just told you where to keep up with him, and you know where to find us, theradcast.com, at the.rad.cast on Instagram, and I'm at Ryan Alford on all the platforms. So you can even find me on TikTok, Ryan.Alford on TikTok. I am verified there. You will see me doing all kinds of cool shit. We'll talk to you next time on the Radcast.